What's up, everybody? Well, I got another small form factor PC gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna check out Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, so far, only one system has failed to run it. Well, two. I mean, the Steam Deck probably could sorta run it, maybe, but it probably would be, this Ally X barely was able to get 30 plus. So I think my idea of probably 20 to 25 FPS with everything on low was probably right on the money, because there's no FSR or anything in this game, so you can't even use upscaling. I mean, you could use the Steam Deck's upscaler, but half the time for me, I don't know if I'm just using it improperly, but every time I turn it on, I lose like 2 or 3 FPS. Maybe I'm just doing it in CPU intensive games though, because that's where you're not gonna, get any help from that. In fact, you can get worse performance if you, make more load go on the CPU by lowering the resolution and whatnot. But anyway, so this one though has 16 gigs of VRAM, so that should not be an issue, because I'm pretty sure the 4 gigs of VRAM on the Firebat was its downfall. So we should be good here. We got 32 gigs of RAM, which is actually starting to be like the just recommended level of RAM. It's not even like a large amount of RAM anymore, which is funny. It used to be like, oh, you'll never need that. Well, you're starting to now. Not necessarily for this game, I'm just saying in general. Some games use some RAM. Anyway, when we got ourselves a nice 8-core CPU with some high single-core performance and some still pretty decent multi-core performance for an 8-core 16-thread CPU. Is it going to beat a 13900KF? No, but still, for gaming, more than enough. But anyway, let's stop blabbing. Let's get ourselves into the game, shall we?
Alright, so here we go. Unfortunately, it has that stupid recording has started thing. Half the time that doesn't come up when you do borderless window, just windowed, so never know when it's gonna come up. But anyway, we're gonna try to just max the game out, which honestly is a stupid idea and it's gonna go very poorly, but just like with the Ally X, I just kinda wanna see for shits and giggles where it sits. But in any case, now let's get ourselves into the game. Alright, here we are in the game, and yeah, we're getting a whopping 16 FPS. And no amount of graphics is worth playing a game at 16 FPS, in my opinion anyway, but hey, we'll still get a little bit of gameplay, because there could be someone out there who would play like this, but I don't think there's very many out there that with a system like this that would be okay with this kind of performance, just being honest. Just like 30 FPS in the 4090, almost nobody's going to want to play 30 FPS on a 4090. There could be some people out there, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule, but that's exactly that, an exception to the rule. Most, like me, would rather be able to, put stuff on high or even ultra on some stuff. And even turn on some ray tracing if you would choose. I'm one of the weird ones who doesn't like ray tracing that much. In some games, yes. Not every game. This one, it doesn't really seem to make the biggest difference in the world. Definitely not enough to warrant its performance hit, in my opinion. But it's still cool that there's the option for it, for those that do like that kind of thing. Alright, let's move on. Well now, let's see if a little DLSS can help us out. I do not think it's gonna, make us get 60 FPS just by turning it to quality, but we'll still start on quality just to see. And then let's move down now. I will go all the way down to performance. But not gonna bother with ultra performance. But anyway, let's go see how it does now. Here we go. And surprisingly, it's actually close to a 30 FPS experience now, which some people would consider completely playable. Not me, but some people. So we'll get about the same amount of gameplay as before, and then see what balance does. Balance to hopefully get us into a 40. And it's amazing how much smoother 40 feels, but it does drop it like 10 milliseconds or more of input lag, so anytime you can drop your frame times, you're gonna feel smoother. And the smoother that bar is, the smoother the game is gonna feel. And this game actually, at least in this area, seems to do pretty good. Every once in a while, a computer will stutter coming down here. But other than that, after that, I haven't seen like any big stutters really at all. It's pretty awesome. He's all scared.
Senor, the Jovitos could be watching us. Burritos don't like intruders.
Relax.
Anyway, why don't we use this opportunity to move on? Here we go. We're going to drop it down to balanced DLSS now. Hopefully that'll get us into the 40s. Still probably some drops into the high 30s still, but hopefully it'll stay mostly in the 40s now. I don't think it's going to get no 60 yet. I think performance is our only hope to get anywhere close to that. But that might not even be able to do it. In which case, I'll mess around with the ray tracing settings and see what we can do. But, do the game. Time for balanced DLSS now. And it seems like we're in the 30s. So it's at least playable now. But couldn't quite get me to my 40s. That's probably where performance will get us then. So I'll probably have to turn it down to like the lowest setting for ray tracing. And still use performance DLSS. And then we'll probably get 60-ish FPS. It'll still probably drop a little here and there. But we shall see when we get to that stage. For now, let's just walk around and see what the FPS does with these settings. And if you were on a more reasonable monitor, you'd be able to probably do this and get 60 FPS with some, like, probably these exact settings, actually. Or at least close to it. But unfortunately, when you got 4K, 4K can ruin your fun real quick. Unless you have, like one of these higher-end cards. And even this one's not quite high-end for every kind of game. Not when you turn path tracing on. Because even the 4090, seeing what I see here, I'm willing to bet, like, bone stock with no upscaling, it'll probably get 30-ish FPS, which some drops under, but still get around 30. That's just a guess. I guess we'll find out, won't we?
The Jovitos could be watching us. Jovitos don't like intruders.
Relax.
Alright, though. Time to drop it to performance. Alright, so now we're going to try performance DLSS. And then we'll try a little frame gen, which if I remember correctly is like glitched or something. It was not working good for me, so I didn't like do it on any of the other computers. But I'll still show you what it does and whatnot, and then you'll understand like why I didn't use it. And maybe be like, oh well, it didn't work because of blank, you know? So anyway, do the game. Well, now here we go. Yep, we're getting that 40-ish FPS now, so that's good. We get like 3 or 4 more FPS if we weren't recording. So we were getting like 43, 45 when we weren't recording. Still dropped down into the 30s though when we weren't recording, down to like, you know, I think down to like 38 or 39 at the worst portion.
Senor, the Jovitos could be watching us. Jovitos don't like intruders.
Alright, we'll go up here like we have with everything else. And then I'm going to just mess with the RT and see if I can't figure something out. I'll probably have to end up just putting on the lowest setting, which is medium, I believe. But hey, let's go see what I can concoct. Alright, so now we're going to try frame gen real quick. I almost completely forgot about that. But it does screw your FPS up, as you can already see just from being in the settings menu. So I only got a little bit of footage here and then moved on, but I did not use it on any of the other computers that could use it because I figured it was going to do the same blasted thing. It's probably just glitched, or maybe I had something else on that I shouldn't have. Who knows? But to the game. Well, here we go. Unfortunately, as you can see, it makes everything kind of suck. I mean, it's not quite as sucky as it just being like stock, like native. I mean, it's getting worse frame times for sure. But in reality, it is probably about stock, because we're not really, since it's frame gen, we're not really getting FPS like this. So sometimes it's actually getting worse than just not having it on at all. So that's why I said it's kind of glitched, and I just don't think it's worth using. So we'll still just run on up here like we have been, though. Go to the same spot, and then we'll move on to my own settings for ray tracing, which will end up probably just, like I said, being medium or something like that, which is the lowest it has. And we'll still probably have to use DLSS performance, but I think that's our only shot to getting anywhere close to 30. Or not 30, but 60. But we shall see. Let's get through this nonsense first, even though it's, like, awful. I really don't think I know anybody that could actually play like this.
Senor, the Jovitos could be watching us. Jovitos don't like intruders.
Alright, just real quick here. I just gotta see here. What happens if I turn... Is it this? What if I turn it just back to... I don't know. Okay, yeah, no, that's not good. No, that's not good at all. That makes things really bad. Alright, that was a horrid idea. Alright. Let's hope we can get this back. Otherwise, I'll just have to, like, give up and stop the recording. Okay, yeah, this is just terrible. I'm just gonna move on. So now, here we go. My ray tracing settings, which are really just medium, and the game maxed out still. So obviously, if you turn some other settings down, you could probably get, you know, a little bit more FPS, but if you want, like, path tracing on and all that stuff, I imagine you want the rest of the settings to look good too, right? Otherwise, what's the point in the ray tracing, path tracing, all that stuff? But anyway, back to the game. Alright, so here we go with the ray tracing settings of medium. And yeah, as you can see, we're close to 60. Can't quite hit it. When we're not recording, it was like 62 and stuff through here a lot, but it still dropped into the 50s, even without recording, so...
Senor, the Jovitos could be watching us. Jovitos don't like intruders.
Alright, let's go up here to our usual stopping point. And then we'll just turn ray tracing off and see how the game fares just maxed out. Without the ray tracing. Well, now here is the game just maxed out with no ray tracing and no upscaling, just native 4K. And if I remember correctly, it still can't quite hit a constant 60 everywhere. But after this, we'll also try DLSS without the ray tracing and all that, just with the game maxed out. And I'm pretty sure that will give us playable FPS everywhere, no matter what. I mean, maybe later off in the game there's still some spots it won't, but I doubt it. But anyway, to the game again. Alright, here we go. Let's give ourselves a little gameplay. It's just a game that maxed out, no ray tracing. And I still think it looks great. In fact, I can't tell too much of a difference between the ray tracing and not ray tracing, but I can definitely tell I'm not getting 16 FPS right now. I can tell you that. I mean, maybe if I full screened it and pixel peeped and zoomed in, I could tell the difference, but yeah. Or maybe this is one of those times where it could almost always stay over, and there's like one or two spots where it dropped down to 58 when I was recording, where it would probably still stayed right at 60. I still thought later in the game it would still get to harder to run places than this, though. I could be wrong, but still, just being realistic. These cutscenes are always 30 FPS. Wish that would just be unlocked, but hey, let them do what they're going to do. It's better than it being locked at 30, although sometimes it doesn't look like a constant 60 either, to be honest. So there could just be some goofy nonsense going on.
Senor, the Jovitos could be watching us. Jovitos don't like intruders.
Relax.
Yeah, see, like here, 58. 57. Anyway, though, let's go move on. Well, now we're going to finish up with the game maxed out, but no ray tracing and some DLSS on quality. And now we should get more than playable FPS the whole time. And I'm willing to bet probably throughout the whole game, too. I don't think there's going to be too many spots you're going to drop under 60, unless it's like going in and out of a cutscene or something like that, and I never count that. Lots of games do that. Some worse than others, and there's a couple that don't. But anyway, to the game. So now here we go. We are recording, so we'd get a little bit more FPS if we weren't, but we get some pretty good FPS the whole time here. I think there's one time we get down like into the 60s again. But if we weren't recording, it probably wouldn't be like 63 or 64, it'd probably be like 66 or 67 or something. But that's what made me think, oh, well, maybe there's some spots. But then thought, probably not. It's probably going to get like 60 plus like the whole time. I kind of was like an internal battle. But I always like saying it might not, just in case, because you never know. I don't like speaking in absolutes, because you never know what the game might behold if you haven't played it yet. So that's why I'm not going to sit here and go, yeah, it'll get 60 plus the whole time, no matter what, for sure. Because I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. All I can say is it did while I was recording. At least in this spot. And forests are usually pretty hard to run. I mean, I still remember, what was that one game? Like I said, funny, I was like, yeah, I remember. Wait, what was it?
The Jovitos could be watching us.
Alan Wake 2, that's what it was. That game, the forest area, is one of the hardest places to run.
Relax.
So that's where I already tested, so I'm actually kind of happy that there's a forest to test in. Alright, yeah, we'll go a little bit further up here this time. And then we'll switch over to camera and I'll try to get you guys at least like 6-7 minutes of gameplay or something like that. Since I've been basically going around the same area over and over and over again, I'm sure plenty of you are bored, but most of the time in these videos, people just skip through just to see, oh, how's it doing this one? Alright. How's it doing this one? Alright. How's it doing in this one? Alright. And then it's like, okay, cool. Alright, done. I'm not really expecting too many people to sit here and watch through the whole thing, but the people who do, cool. I'm pretty sure that helps the videos get more popular and whatnot. Same thing with, you know, just watching it. Getting views and whatnot helps them be more popular too. So. Obviously liking and commenting does too, but I'm never going to tell people to do that. I like that to just come naturally. If people like a video, they're going to like it. If they want to comment, they're going to comment already. They don't need me telling them to do those things. And if they're anything like me, sometimes that kind of puts them off and be like, yeah, no, I don't want to. Although sometimes I'll really like the YouTuber and I'm like, yeah, they all do it, so I'll just, whatever. But it still goes, I wish they wouldn't do that, but I still get it. I just want more people to have more views because it makes them more money. Me, I'm not doing this for money. I'm just having fun. And if I ever do make money on this, I'm just going to put all that money back into the YouTube channel, like buying games and whatnot.
All right, let's get some camera recorded gameplay now so we don't have anything impeding the FPS. And yeah, so far it seems like you can get some playable FPS on almost everything besides maxed out. Unless you're okay with 30-40 FPS. If you want maxed out game, maxed out path traced ray tracing, you gotta have some DLSS on performance and then you'll get 30-40 FPS. But if you like ray tracing and still want the game maxed out and want a little ray tracing, you can just do what I did towards the end of the ray tracing thing and just put it on medium. But it still can't get 60 all the time with that, unfortunately. But it sticks around there. It goes down to the 55s and whatnot. So me, if I was just playing solely on this system, and it was the only PC I had, I would absolutely just not have ray tracing on. And just do some DLSS quality and be done with it. And that's if I was playing with 4K. If I had a 1440p monitor, I probably wouldn't even need DLSS. I could probably just max game out, be done with it. But I have to rely on DLSS on lots of things, since I have lots of 4K stuff and high I was gonna say high refresh rate. That's not the word. We're looking for high resolution screens. Got some 4K screens, ultra wide, 1440. But then I still have some, 720 and 1080p screens on stuff too.
Relax.
Yeah, I will say, at least out here in the forest, where it's not like auto-saving every 5 seconds, it seems to get very smooth frame times. Now, I did notice at the very beginning of the game, the only time I saw a save point, it did have like a stutter. So I have a feeling it's going to be like the old Skyrims and stuff like that. Like every time it auto-saves, you're going to see just a tiny little blip
I think they were intent on
of a
coming
lag.
back.
But when it does it often, apparently that's what people were saying in reviews. Apparently it has some stutters when it does that. But out here in the forest, it does not really autosave very often. I mean, I came pretty far up here and still.
Ovitos are near. Poison is still fresh, 3 days. Following us.
If they knew we were here, they would have killed us already.
But yeah, so far it seems to be, not the best looking game known to man, but far from the worst. And I like this. Smooth performing. At least I probably will be in most parts of the game. Just like I said, spots that have lots of save checkpoints probably aren't going to be so smooth. Unless they fixed that. All the reviews were with the early access game, and they might have had a big update or something. For all I know. Alright, now you hold up the log. South America, 1936. That is quite a while ago. Although I guess in the grand scheme of the world, not that long ago, but to me, that's a long time ago. And obviously it's got screen tearing and stuff because I've got VSync turned off, but I always have that turned on with G-Sync on most of my other computers, so I do not have to deal with that. I always just, if I can, play unrestricted FPS for you guys, because you guys don't want to see me playing at like just 60. Because yeah, that screen tearing is pretty awful. Whip it good. And yeah, this when you max this game out, ray tracing and all that stuff, and even without it, it uses quite a decent amount of VRAM. But still, nowhere near this thing's max of 16, so. I saw a lot of people complaining about next-gen cards only having like 16 and whatnot on the higher end stuff, and it's like, well, dude, you don't really need that much. Even at 4K, most games don't need more than 16. 24 on the 4090 is a ridiculous amount. That's mostly, I think, there so people can get work done, too.
Friend of yours, a competitor.
That's just my
He was
opinion, though.
good.
Not a programmer, not a game developer.
He was
I have
very,
absolutely
very
no
good.
proof for any of the things I say. These have always just been things I've assumed and thought.
Please.
No, please. We're going in. There's no time for being a pussy. Well, there was a save point, but it happened right after it was going from 60 to, 90 to 100, so probably hard to tell if there's going to be a stutter or not. But they might have fixed that, too. Because I think I had an update of 2 gigs before I started to play it. So that's a pretty decent-sized update. Nothing like I've seen for some of the Stalker updates, I mind you.
See, I love how unbothered he is by that. I would freak the fuck out. I hate spiders. Give me snakes any day. Funny enough, though, both spiders and snakes, a tiny little bite from either one of them and you can easily die. Isn't that crazy how such small creatures can just end such bigger creatures' lives? Oh wow, he's doing way worse. Although one thing I've always thought, I don't think tarantulas make webs like that. So I've always had a problem with that scene, even as a kid. I asked my grandpa, I was like, do tarantulas make webs? And he's like, I'm pretty sure they don't. There's the funnel web ones that go underground and whatnot, but that's completely different. I think they mostly are just ambush hunters. Woo! Yeah. Well, apparently it wasn't good enough.
Just not good enough. Guess we'll find out.
Okay, so there's some spikes there. I ran into them last time. But how do I get past these without setting them off by crouching? That's what I don't understand. But whatever. Alright, yeah, no, there was no, there's not a stutter back there. So they must have fixed that with an update or something. Or it just doesn't happen in the woods. So people were saying it happened unless you get to town. How long it is till town? No idea. Because I beat this all and then I went to a college. And that was getting lots of FPS even on an Asus Ally, so I was like, that's no way to test. But anyway, I think that's plenty for camera recorded gameplay, so let's go wrap this video on up now.
Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and I'd say the system did alright. It just couldn't handle, path tracing native. That was completely unplayable. And then even with quality DLSS, it was still dropping under 30 and whatnot. We had to go all the way down to balanced. If you want, if you're okay with 30 FPS and maybe 40, you can have some maxed out path tracing. And then if you put it on performance, it went up to about 40-ish with still some drops into the 30s. So if you're okay with that, you can even have some path tracing on the system, just not natively. And then, like I was saying earlier in the game, if you just want some ray tracing, but want closer to 60 FPS, the only way to get even close is to put the ray tracing on the lowest setting, which is medium, and then performance, DLSS. And then it still drops down to like 55 every once in a while, and it'll probably get even worse than that later on in the game, just guessing. So I would go with just maxing the game out with DLSS quality, and then we were getting like 90 to 100 FPS most of the time, and drop down to the 80s here and there. And then of course 60 for the cutscene. I wish games didn't do that, but hey, I'll take that over 30. But in any case, that is all I got for you guys for this particular video. I know it's a little longer than usual, but I wanted to be pretty thorough since I didn't get to do these videos yesterday, since I didn't feel great, and I never make videos if I don't feel up to it, because if I'm not my happy-go-lucky self, I'm not gonna sit here and have like a headache or be all in pain from something else. I don't know, just like maybe I bruised my arm on a rim or something and just didn't really feel like moving around, just as an example. I'm not gonna sit here and fake and be like, oh, happy-go-lucky, woo, even though have a massive headache or I'm in pain somewhere else. No, we're not gonna do that on this channel. So I just took the day off yesterday, because I basically did just have I wouldn't call it a migraine, but pretty close to one. Anyway, that's all I got for this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.